How does somebody go about making that film idea that they've always dreamt of making, but without access to cameras, lighting, locations, or even a cast and crew? How does somebody new to filmmaking get that first film made, and crucially, with no budget? Well, I sat down with Joseph Arnott, a local theatre teacher here in the Northeast, to talk just that, because he managed to gather a crew of local people, enthusiastic people, locations, equipment, and directed his first 2 short films for free. And I am director of photography on these 2 projects. The Turned is a post-apocalyptic survival series made in preparation for a larger project that Joseph hopes to make in the future at some point down the line, and it's just really motivating stuff. So yeah, enjoy. My clapping. Hello, Joseph Arnott.
Hello.
It is Joseph Arnott, right?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. No. I'm. Which one am I?
You are. Oh, you can be whichever one you want. Whichever grabs your eye. You can back and forth.
See how quick your editing skills are. I'm Joseph Arnott. I'm an actor, now director and producer. I've been doing theatre mostly for pretty much my whole life. I got into it the last year of primary school, really, and I discovered it was a thing that I really enjoyed doing, so I continued doing it. I did GCSE, A-level drama and performing arts, and then went on to university to do a drama course, and then came back, became a drama teacher. So my whole life has just been drama focused, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
So it's nice to see that there are people like you still passionate about like what you were doing as a child, but now you say, is this your first film?
Yeah.
Wow. So this is Joseph Arnott's directorial debut.
Like when I was younger, I used to make like YouTube videos and vlogs and things with my friends and my brother and sister and stuff, but nothing to this.
Nothing like serious
Scale.
where you were like narrative and getting a crew. And, like how did you go about it? Because you weren't in the filmmaking community necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go about forming a team that would actually go through with you to make your first film?
For me, it started off, well, the first sort of idea of having the 2 short stories and things. I had the idea, and I was like, right, let's, I could write them myself, but I'm not a writer. Like, and I know there are people out there who've gone and studied it and are, more experienced than me in that department. So I met Gary, who we did the...
Oh, Gary! Yeah.
Who we did the film with, who plays David in the Positive Transfer. And he's also from the Northeast, so I mentioned to him in passing that I was making these short films and things, that I wanted to use Northeast-based people. And he said, oh, well, there's a really good writer called Andy Winwood, who you might want to get in touch with. Yeah. So that name sort of stuck in the back of my head for a bit, and I thought, right, well, I'm going to need a crew. And as a teacher, I've always been really passionate about getting the younger community involved and giving them experience and giving them, because if they don't get experience at a younger age and they don't get the chance, then like they're not going to have that experience in the future.
It's also how you develop your skills. Like I think it is very important to let children and stuff explore their hobbies, because it might lead to something, and it's always helpful to have it ready for when you're older.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I went to the local university and I spoke to their course leaders for their filming course about, could they do anything, and we had a lot of really positive dialogue about integrating it into the course possibly, and different options with that. But we decided to sort of go with more of a passion-based thing. So they put out on emails to the students and things about it being a passion project, and they were encouraging the students to apply for it and things. And we got quite a lot of we got about 20 students just from one university get back to me about either being involved in general or like editing, filming. But the university also mentioned another name, which was Andy Winwood. So
Andy Winwood.
I got from 2 different sources. It was a big web of interconnected people and all these links that I joined together. So I got in touch with him, and He was really keen on writing it. Obviously, I looked into his work and stuff beforehand, and he's won tons of short film awards, and he's a fantastic writer. And he was really, really keen on being out and getting involved. So yeah, just getting in touch with people and just asking for help.
So Andy Winwood, it was almost like he was meant to be with you.
Yeah.
Because it is funny, like you said, it's all like an interconnected web, at least here in the Northeast. I've been noticing that so much the last year.
Yeah.
Because I love to add people on Instagram, and no matter who I go to or where I go, there's always one mutual. Everybody has a mutual here in the Northeast. It really is just a massive web.
I was going to say, obviously I'm only just getting involved with the filmmaking stuff, but I fully agree. It's one person knowing someone else, and then from Andy, when I went to him and asked about sort of crew and things like that, because although we had the students from the university, but it was nice to have possibly some more experienced people around to support them and vice versa. So I went to an In the Frame Northeast.
Oh yeah.
Thing which they do. They do showcasing for small films and things, and they feature different creatives from around the Northeast and things. I think they do one each month, and they do like a network evening and things. And I went to that, and then that's when I saw one of Andy's short films that he was doing, which was amazing. And then from that, they then put me in touch with other people who either gave me advice or just sort of general support and things like that.
I was going to get onto how we connected, but it was through In the Frame sharing your Instagram post that I saw asking for camera people.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hello. I can maybe do camera.
So originally we were going to have, I believe it was a third-year student, and he got in touch with me and he was like, I'm really sorry, but my coursework is really sort of
important.
Yeah, and I was like, of course I understand. And I said this with everyone else who was involved as well, and cast-wise as well. We had a couple of younger members of the crew and the cast that were doing exams and things like that, which is why we moved the filming days back further.
Yeah.
Was to accommodate for them, because obviously their results and their exams and things and coursework are more important than doing a film. But I just think if you're nice to people, then people are nice to you back.
So I have this student's coursework to thank for me being involved. Again,
basically, yeah.
Getting to do this talk with you right now. Like, if he didn't have coursework, he would have replaced me.
Yeah.
But like, going back to Andy Winwood, like, I was at a film festival 2 weeks ago, and one of his films comes on, and I'm like, it's Andy Winwood. And like I think I said to you earlier, it's like an MCU moment where like there's all these cameos and it's all just interconnected.
Gary appeared in it.
And Gary was in it. It was brilliant.
It's really nice that so many people know each other, and it's such a supportive community. And coming into it especially, there's been loads of different Facebook groups and things like that I've joined that have just been full of people constantly, like asking for extras or asking for advice or offering advice or offering editing, or like I joined one of those groups and someone had put in there that they were happy to make some free posters and things as long as they could use them in their portfolios. So I contacted her about the short films and things. She made that positive transfer poster with the hand and the vial and
one that we tried to replicate.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy how many people
are just willing to help.
Yeah, which is why when I got all those responses, I was really excited by it.
Yeah.
Because it showed, like you said, that people are obviously interested in the idea and the concept and things. But it felt a bit bittersweet because it felt like it was sort of upsetting to me that there were so many people that just wanted to be involved with something that wasn't paid, or like it was completely voluntary, like there was no compensation or anything. Because again, it's just an independent, self-funded thing that we're doing. Like it baffled me.
I think it does go back to like what you were saying about the poster. Like, you have something in your portfolio, like you build up a big thing, but also it's a way of networking organically. I hate networking. I've been to networking events. Horrible. I can't do it. I just stand there in the corner and nobody talks to me and I'm just a weirdo. So when you go on a film set with people, it's a natural way of bonding, and you network with the Northeast community, at least here. Like, you get to know Jay, I get to know you. You know Gary, so like I now have a weird connection to Gary.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's just the nice thing about the Northeast filmmaking community. Just everybody's passionate and trying to do it, and we all kind of know each other in the end.
Yeah.
We've actually talked about a lot of stuff already that I was planning on talking about.
See you later.
Yeah, nice knowing you, Joseph. Yeah, okay. This is a question that I wanted to ask. What were the biggest hurdles with it being a no-budget film? I was going to ask that, but you seem to have done everything, like, it seemed to have been effortlessly almost. Like, have you actually had any problems?
We have had some issues. Funding and budget-wise was a concern to start off with, because obviously I had no equipment, I had no crew, I had 2 scripts
Yeah.
and an idea, and that was all I had to start off with. So I set up a GoFundMe page, which is still active if people want to. And there are like different perks and things on there. So and you can, like, obviously we could have done it without donations. It would have been more sort of financially heavy on me, and I just think it was one of those things that I knew I wouldn't have enough to be able to pay people, and so it was a case of me using that budget to go towards the props and the set decoration, and we had absolutely tons and tons of books and files and things donated by members of the Crash Band Wallop community and parents of people from Crash Band Wallop, and it was fantastic. And then being able to use that budget to go towards, my brother's trained to be a chef, so he did all the catering stuff. So
It was lovely. I had lots of those sandwiches.
It was. I am now a cheese savoury guy. I've been converted to cheese savoury. It's crazy.
That's what it'll do to you.
Simply just being able to say, you can turn up. We've got tea, coffee, juice,
Yeah.
sandwiches, crisps, bits of fruit and things. Like it was something that I wanted to do from the off, because I knew that people weren't going to be paid to do it. So I wanted people to feel comfortable and like they were being, treated as professionals. Because for me, if people are willing to give their time up, then they should feel.
I think that is one of the most underrated or underappreciated aspect of trying to do free films, like where you get people to do free work and stuff. Like, feed your crew. Like, that's the least you could do. I'm not saying this to you, you did. And it was lovely. Honestly, the food prep that your brother did, no joke, like, I'm dead serious. Like, the professional film sets I've been on to, that probably looks like I'm dissing all the professional. I meant that in a good way. Indistinguishable from like what he was doing. Like the craft service table. Like, you might as well have just been on a proper film set. Like, hats off.
It was good. It was fantastic. Like you said, it's one of those things that's so sort of underrated. But it was so nice after doing 4.5, 5 hours of trying to get a one shot done.
I know.
Being able to just go into a room and have just nice, fresh,
just ready to pick up and eat.
And it was great.
Because like on my last film set that I made people help me on for free, I just had frozen pizzas going in the oven every 5 minutes, and I would like, but I was also doing the camera, I was directing, so I'd be like, right, we've got the shot, does anybody want a pizza, put it in, and then I'd put a pizza in the oven, then I'd come back, like, and then my timer would go off mid-take, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get the pizza. So it's always good that you have somebody that is there to do it for you.
Yeah.
So like, you were obviously working with a lot of like passionate actors as well as crew. How did you go about directing performances with people?
I'm quite laid back in terms of directing it, because I just think I've cast those people for a reason, and in my head it's because they fit the character that I'm after. And I was talking to Jay about this before on his podcast, but Jay had originally auditioned for David.
Oh, really?
In Positive Transfer, yeah. And we'd cast Gary as David, who was a fantastic fit. I think it's fantastic. And then I got back to Jay and I said, could you audition for Captain instead? And at the time, Captain was wrote as a 40 to 50-year-old female character. So there were quite a few characters that were changed so that the Captain was female, Bleach was going to be female as well, and then obviously Newbie was. So out of the cleaning crew, Arthur was going to be the only one that was a lad in there. not for any particular reason apart from I wanted Captain to be a nice, strong, female authoritative figure. But I sort of went into it not really being set in stone in terms of gender of characters and things like that, just because I think if someone can go in and go for a certain character and play that character well, then
why not?
Yeah,
just best person fit for the role.
Yeah. And it goes for both Alex and Jay, but the audition for the characters, and it just fit. Like I could just see them as that character in the story. Again, in terms of direction, like I said, unless it was like a key line or like important to the story, I was very happy just to let them come up with their own interpretations of things. And
I mean, because I think a lot of a misinterpretation of what a director does on set, because they see the people with the big megaphones or they're always taking an actor by the time being like giving them notes. But even on the professional sets I've been on, like the director's just sat in his chair in Video Village just watching, and the DOP's doing his thing, the producer's doing their thing, and the director's not really saying much, and maybe he'll come over and give them a little note. Pretty much how you were doing it. Like you said, like you cast for the right role, or you write for who you know. That's always a saying. Like if you can't find people, write for people that you know, like the characters, and it should be fine. Like you just give them notes for what you want in particular, or like you'll come to me and say, how about this? Like, as long as you've got a group who can help fulfill your vision, then it's less stress for you, less work for you, but it's all still under your vision. Yeah,
it's been a great learning experience for me.
Oh yeah, because it's your first film.
Terms of, obviously I've directed bits and pieces before, but they've all been stage things, which is.
How does that translate over to film? Like, how do you know what you want shot-wise? Like, how do you know how to talk to me as a director of photography?
It's been a case of watching a lot of TV and films.
I guess, yeah. Like, are you a visual thinker then as well? Like, you picture, like, when you're reading a script, are you thinking, oh, this shot, and then you automatically cut it to a wide shot or something?
Yeah. When I got the scripts from Andy, the first version of the draft that I received, as I was reading through the script, I was just drawing like a little box and how I wanted the shot to look, and then like it changing and how I wanted this type of thing to look.
Kind of like storyboarding, but just at the side of the page.
Yeah, like as I was going, it's something that I've always sort of done, and especially with stage scripts as well. That was always something. So when I've been either helping to direct a play, or whether it's been one of the ones I've directed myself, I've always been sort of fortunate enough to be able just to read through something and go, well, it would make sense for them to go that way, and it just, whether that comes with experience of just doing lots of stage and theatre, that you get that in your head, because the film set is just a 3D version of a stage set.
Yeah, you just don't have
in my mind. It's
the actual audience.
There's not the audience there, but there's still that. Obviously, there's the 180 degree line that you're not supposed to cross, which I then see in my head as, well, that's where the audience would be.
That's how I think of it as well. I always imagine it as a stage play. Like they never, because you do block your characters on stage play to face the audience, no matter what, unless it's intentional from behind it. It's the same with the 180 degree line.
It was very surreal to have it all planned in my head, and to have like 8-9 months of prep come down to 4 filming days with everyone there, and it just worked. One of the massive things for me that was a huge help was us all having the shared idea of what was going on. Like I knew in my head what I wanted and how I sort of wanted it to feel and look like, but me being able to just approach you and Joe and Demebe and say, right, for this bit, I want it to feel like this and look like this, and then we can change to this sort of environment and this feel for this shot. And I mean, you would all just sort of pick it up and go, yeah, we can do this, and then if we shift the focus there, it'll do this. And like, you guys all know the techniques and things. I knew how I wanted it to look, but having other people that weren't necessarily on the same wavelength as me would have been so much trickier.
I will say, like, because I've worked with other directors as well, And every director works in a completely different way. Sometimes, as a DOP, like, you don't get a director who necessarily understands camera-related stuff, but they want certain things, but they don't quite know how to ask it. I didn't even have to think half the time. You just be like, let's get a shot here. I'd be like, oh, you mean like type? Yeah, okay. And then I just go set it up. And then the fun thing about working with Joseph, which some people might not find fun, but I found it fun, is every morning he'd come back into set and be like, hello, Chris. I was staying up late last night thinking about this new shot idea every single day. And I'd be like, okay. Half the time it was involving our favourite piece of equipment that we came across. The trolley dolly.
Oh, there are quite a few behind-the-scenes clips of us using the trolley. One across here.
Oh, yeah.
when we were doing the cleaning shot.
And all the way up here to get the close-ups on Jay and stuff.
The corridor ones as well.
I love the corridor ones. I'm really impressed because a lot of the time you would have to like get out proper like wheels or dolly tracks to do that sort of thing. But we just like one day we were just on set and we had this trolley and you were saying that you wanted the shot in the file cabinet room to go left to right, track left to right. And I'd been a bit like, oh no, how are we actually going to do this? We did have the gimbal, the DJI gimbal. That was going to be my take on it that I thought we might have to go with.
And there was a computer chair as well.
There was a computer chair, and I think I said, I guess we could maybe use the computer chair. And you immediately shut in. You were like, what about the trolley that was in the corner? It's like we turned around, and it was a shiny object. Like, just being waved.
Sunbeams coming out of it. But it was one of those things that we would just lent it to help move equipment from the base that we had across to the file room. And it was just perfect. It's one of those things that you, especially in amateur filmmaking, you just work with what you've got.
Literally,
there are so many Instagram pages now that I follow that are
like DIY hacks,
like budget rigs, things like that. And it's just like a camera on a tripod, duct taped to a skateboard, or like two skateboards, and it's fantastic. It's so good, and it's things like that that you don't see and you don't appreciate when you go and like see, especially short films and independent film projects.
Proper tracking shots, like smoothish tracking shots.
Which is why one of the things that I was really keen on from day one was getting someone in to do behind the scenes bits and pieces. Mainly because I thought that you see a lot of short films and things. I think the expectation is it's a couple of people with a camera and that is the case for some things, but I knew from this project, and especially with the responses that I got and the amount of responses that I got, that I had something quite special in terms of how many people were involved. So from that point on, I was like, I want someone to come and do behind the scenes stuff because I want it to be something that people can look back on. People can, whether you were cast, crew, or involved in any other way, you can look back at it and go, oh, this was a funny,
I agree. I love, that's another underappreciated thing about making films at this stage. Having behind the scenes pictures, but also videos. Yeah. Because there's so many films that I've worked on 10 years ago or something. I only have the short films to look back on. And all those memories are kind of lost. And you don't appreciate it as much as you would with all of the stuff. But we had Anth on set who was very lovely. Yeah. He was always asking me about his A7 III. And I loved talking to him about his camera and stuff. Everybody on set was really nice. Yeah. That's something that to be appreciated. Because if you're not nice, nobody wants to work with you and you don't get invited back. That's just my little rant.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. But, yeah, everyone from sort of start to end, when it came down to, filming time, everyone was on it. Everyone was focused. And again, that was one of the things that I think made the whole shoot run so smoothly, is that everyone had the shared vision of what I wanted, and it was great.
I know it was.
Just everyone being on the ball, really focused, really professional.
Speaking of trolley dolly though, like you were saying with no budget stuff, you just got to find what you can use. Like you were saying about the skateboard stuff and stuff like that. Don't just think you should just be shooting on a tripod because you've already got a tripod. Honestly, the trolley dolly that we were using might be the best dolly system I've ever used. And I've used the rigs with going through. I've not used a Steadicam. Maybe a Steadicam might have been good. But I've used like wheelchairs as well. That's the thing. You were a trolley dolly operator.
I was.
You've got to credit yourself as that. Pushing or pulling me along the tracks. It was brilliant. That was one of my favourite experiences. What advice would you give to somebody else trying to start out with no budget if they wanted to go and make their own little short film?
I suppose it depends on what extent they're wanting to take it to. I would just think about the people that you've got around you. First of all, that was sort of where I went to first, is that in my head I went, well, who do I know that can use a camera? So we got Anthony involved. Who do I know that I've worked with before who can do hair and makeup? And then I instantly went to the college students. And for me it was more a case of who do I know first and who have I worked with that, you know, that I know will work well and that is dedicated and that might be interested, and then just asking them if they want to be involved. Like I've learned so much about just asking people if they're interested, or asking people for advice, or that's sort of the only thing I can give in the earlier stages. Like there are loads and loads of different filmmakers and things. Just Googling filmmakers in Middlesbrough, like there are so many in the area, and just getting in contact with one of them and asking them for advice or support, or, you know,
to help out.
Exactly. Could you go along and, you know, be a runner for them, or just be on set and help out in any way? Because it will give you, if you're wanting to get into that experience, a bit of an insider knowledge before you then start to look at stuff. The more you surround yourself in that environment, I think the more experience, the more confidence, the more connections, like we were saying before, you can make with people.
I think because a lot of the time, at least new filmmakers, they're very intimidated by people in the industry, or they feel like they don't have the gear to start making their own films. Like, you don't have to have money to make a film. Like, you contacted the university. That's how you ended up with the filmmaking gear that we did use. Yeah. That's how you ended up with a crew. You used the social media aspect as well, like through In the Frame. That's how I got involved. Yeah. And it was all essentially kind of free in that sense. Like, if you are starting out, there probably is a filmmaking community out here or out there around that is just waiting for you to get joined, to get involved, not get joined. And I feel like you have been such a good inspiration for that type of filmmaker, because I was so motivated by how you started out with no connections necessarily to the actual filmmaking community here, but then you put yourself in there and suddenly you are now part of it, and we're probably going to do more things together because I'm a part of it.
Yes.
And, you know, it's crazy how that, like, stop being intimidated, just go do it, like Joseph. Before I let you go, I mean, I can't remember. Before I let you go, Joseph, where can people find you if they want to follow you? I don't know if you want that. But... We're on
Instagram and Facebook. The Instagram is _project, and the Facebook is just the Turned.
It's right
here somewhere, as if by magic.
And it'll be linked in the description.
If you're watching and you want to get involved, just reach out. There's a Linktree link in there as well, and at the very bottom there's an application and information form, Google form, which you can fill out, and you can put on there any roles that you're interested in being a part of, or if you just want to come and help out.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
that's really generous.
The more people, the better, I think.
See, if you're in the northeast, reach out to Joseph.
Yeah, I want to work with you. I want to work with as many northeast people.
That'd be brilliant. You're just a nice guy.
Thanks.
And you're passionate. And what more could you ask for? Especially from a director. So he will go on to do good things. Thank you, Joseph. I think that's everything. That was great.
Amazing.
Yeah. Are we supposed to get that pickup shot?
Yeah, yes, please.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.